Yes, hello again, my beautiful people. Jamaican youth, yet again in the building. And in this video, we're talking about Jamaica 2, Honduras 1 in the CONCACAF Nations League game that ended yesterday, which now sees Jamaica getting all 3 points there in Honduras and propelling us to the top of the table. And now we are leading our zone on 4 points, still tied with Nicaragua, but leading the zone, coming from a stalemate in Jamaica against Cuba, a game which we played well, maintained possession, bossed the game around, but didn't get the result we wanted or we all wanted. But definitely getting the result we wanted this time around in Honduras. Jamaica 2, Honduras 1. And we're going to get right into it. Before we get into it, I just want to ask you to do the usual. Please hit the like button as it sends the video out to more eyes. And if you haven't subscribed as yet, please hit the subscribe button as it helps the channel to grow. We're trying to grow the channel here. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Jamaica 2, Honduras 1. Jamaica won the game on an own goal, a ball that was whipped in hard and low from Norman Campbell over on the right. He nutmegged his defender, beat his defender, got in front of it, whipped it over really hard. And then, a defender was trying to clear it and ended up clearing it right into his own net. Jamaica 1-0. Then right on the ensuing play, the restart of the game, Honduras made an attack down the left-hand side of Jamaica, crossed it over to the middle, and we struggled to clear the ball. And lo and behold, one of the Honduras forwards or attackers got just an ever so slight toe poke on the ball, and it ended up in Jamaica's net. Honduras 1, Jamaica 1. And then in the dying embers of the game, and Michail Antonio made an attack down the right-hand side for Jamaica. Honduras' left-hand side got into the box. The keeper came out to try and save and ended up fouling Michail Antonio. He fell over in the box. The referee awarded a penalty. Antonio took it, placed it to the right, hard and low again, and that was all she wrote. It was Jamaica 2, Honduras 1, and we saw out the game with all 3 points. So a very good night for Jamaica, a very good game for us. And there are several takeaways from it. We look at the starting lineup. Who was in the starting lineup? We saw Andre Blake. Most people's man of the match, I would agree with that. He kept us in the game. But Andre Blake was in goal. Amari Bell on left back. Ethan Pinnock and Damian Lowe started in the center of defense. And then Greg Lee on the right back. Interesting selection there. Not having the regular custodian, Lembikisa, playing right back. And then you saw in left wing, Demari Gray, then Casey Palmer, who had has had an outstanding window so far, but Casey Palmer, Joel Latibo there, and then on the right wing, Norman Campbell getting the start ahead of Jamal Lowe, which I said, I know that the conventional approach would be to choose Jamal Lowe as the starting right wing player, but I said, you know what? I would love to see Norman Campbell get the nod ahead of Jamal Lowe, because Jamal Lowe didn't have that great of a game against Cuba, and so it should be somebody else getting the chance. And Norman Campbell is in form at his club in Denmark, so why not? And the coach went ahead and started Norman Campbell, which turned out to bear fruit, right? And then up front, you had Michail Antonio and Bobby the Cordova-Reid, who, Bobby Reid really was kind of playing, more of a midfield role in a way, and kind of switched over to the wing at times. But, if you look at the formation setup, that's kind of what Bobby Reid role was kind of like a forward. So that was the starting lineup. And Jamaica started out the game really good, being very patient on the ball and knocking the ball around, playing the ball out from the back. We notice we don't see the panic on the ball anymore. This is one of the major positives I've seen since Steve McLaren has started coaching Jamaica. And big up, by the way, to Steve McLaren on the job he's doing. He's doing a really good job with Jamaica so far. But we don't see the panic on the ball. I see a much more calm demeanor. When we're on the ball, we're passing the ball out of the back, even though sometimes when we're passing it out of the back, we're putting ourselves under pressure. And, that is something that we're going to have to develop. It's going to have to come over time, where we're so comfortable on the ball that even when we're being high pressed, we can break the press. That is something that we're just going to have to be able to do. And that we're not there yet, but we're working on it. You can see that that's what the coach is doing. He's the coach. So we see, Jamaica started out the game possessing the ball. By the end of the first half, there were no goals, and the statistics was like Jamaica had like 55% possession of the ball, where Honduras only had 45% possession of the ball. However, towards the end of that first half, you started to see Honduras possessing the ball a little bit more. They grew into the game, and then they carried that over into the second half. And Jamaica kind of was like a little bit more on the back foot in the second half, type of thing. And we never really got that possession like we had in the I'm trying to block out the sun, but we never had that possession like we normally had in the that what we had in the first half. So it was a little bit different, but we still ended up getting the goals. But you can see what the coach is trying to do. The coach is trying to play possession football, instill confidence in the team, making sure that we are comfortable on the ball and we're not always playing panic football. Now, having said that, when you look at the statistics at the end of the game, Honduras had 61% possession of the ball and Jamaica had 39% possession of the ball. They had as much as 19 shots. Jamaica had 9. And, you look at that and you say, well, Honduras probably was the better team based on the stats. But if you watch the game, that wasn't quite how the game panned out to be. Does Jamaica deserve the win? I think you deserve what you earn. So, if you earn the win, then you deserve it. You know what I mean? So I would say Jamaica did an excellent job. Getting these 3 points, because it's never easy to go away from home and get 3 points, especially in CONCACAF playing in Central America. That's never easy. So to get those 3 points is excellent, and we have to big up the team for that. So some notable standouts, again, Norman Campbell. To me, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Norman Campbell not ready yet." Him, almost like want to put him down to the level of a USL baller. Well, no. Norman Campbell came, he got the start, and he made use of it. He made use of his start. He contributed to this win, right? Even though the ball he put across the goal turned out to be an own goal, it's just as good as an assist, or just as good as scoring a goal. He contributed to the win, and I'm glad he contributed to the win, because a lot of people were saying a lot of things about him, that he wasn't ready yet and all of this. Well, there you go. And then in addition to that, Michail Antonio, a lot of people were saying, oh, Michail Antonio is not going to be the guy for us going forward and all of that. Well, Michail Antonio is the one that won this game for us. So I think it's time for us to start supporting these players, and just because they have one bad game, or, they didn't score a goal or they get in a last game, don't mean say that they are no not the type of players that we need in our team. So we just need to be mindful of that. So some notable standouts would be, Norman Campbell, in my opinion. Andre Blake was clearly the man of the match. He kept us in this game, made some brilliant saves, especially towards the end of the game. I think on one of the last attack by Honduras could have easily been a goal, but for Andre Blake, you know what I mean. And I have to say, Steve McLaren and the job that he's doing for a man that has gotten the team in such a short space of time. And you can see a clear difference in his approach to playing. And he's not afraid to take off players who are not cutting it. We see he didn't start Jamal Lowe this time around, because Jamal Lowe, just let's face it, he never had that great of a game against Cuba. He took off Norman Campbell. I was kind of wondering about that, because even the commentator was saying Norman Campbell had been having a good game, but maybe it was time to give Kaheem Dixon a little bit more of a look in, and Kaheem Dixon did well too, because he was involved in that build-up play that ended up earning us that penalty. He nicked that ball to Bobby Reid, but that gave Bobby Reid time and space to look for Michail Antonio, and he passed that ball to Michail Antonio. Michail Antonio got into the box and got fouled, penalty, goal, right? And also, Kaheem Dixon had played some really good passes to Shamar Nicholson, who Shamar Nicholson just looked a little bit heavy. He doesn't look like he's on good form, and that might be as a result of not getting regular game time. So that is something that he has to work on. But Kaheem Dixon played well too, even though he got just a few minutes on the field this time around. But overall, yeah, though Casey Palmer has become a standout for me in midfield for Jamaica. He has been playing that midfield role really, really well. Latimer there, a man that a lot of people like to cuss. He didn't have a bad game. I noticed sometimes when Damian Lowe found himself high up the pitch, Latimer there just rocked back into that center of defense role until Damian Lowe came back, and then he went back to the CDM role. I noticed that Damian Lowe had a really good first half too. But he was taken off at halftime. I don't know if it was because of an injury or he wanted to see Deshaun Bernard in particular. But outside of an injury, I didn't say the need to remove Damian Lowe. I think he actually did. He was doing a really good job. And is another person where people love for cuss and say, oh, the man enough to start, you should start this and that. Damian Lowe had a good game. He's a good player. And we need to start, respect the contributions of these players a little bit more. Not because a man have a bad game, almost dash him away. Damian Lowe has been a mainstay in Jamaica's team for a reason. It's a reason why every coach will come to Jamaica, start Damian Lowe. He's a good player. And let's just leave it. Let's just, me not say, you can't criticize him game by game. But when the guy do well, we need to call a spade a spade. So anyway, I think those were some outstanding performances by those players that I mentioned. But a good game, in general. A lot of people didn't like seeing Gregory on the right wing. Didn't think he had so much of a good game there. I didn't think he was all that bad, even though I think Lembikisa is probably a little bit better there. I don't know why Lembikisa isn't getting the start there. Maybe the coach felt that he never really had such a good game in the Cuba game, and this coach looks like he's a results-oriented coach. He's like, look, if I give you a game and you don't play well, I'm going to give the other person a chance. So in some way, maybe he's trying to create competition in the team so that people are fighting to be out there and not just expecting that, oh, I am the regular starter in this role, I am just going to be the natural person there. No, this coach is saying, look, you have to keep earning your spot out on the pitch, day in, day out, game in, game out. And, that's a good thing. That is a good thing. So I don't want to make this video too long, but kudos to the Reggae Boys. We're now at the top of the table. Kudos to Coach Steve McLaren and the job that he has been doing, and made the team long. May the pursuit of ball possession and ball dominance continue, and we want to see Jamaica move on from strength to strength. The next game is in October in the National Stadium. I think we have Honduras in the National Stadium. People come out and make a ram the stadium, just kind of like what we did against Cuba. A lot of people came out to watch that game. Let's keep it like that. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm going to leave it right here. Please hit the like button on the way out. And until next time, take care of yourself and walk good, man. All right, I'm out.